Right friends, this is one mini capsule with regard to climate change and small island nations. Today one article appeared in the Hindu, and here when you look at climate change and its effect on various countries, two important words please don't forget. One is mitigation and second one is adaptation. What is the meaning of mitigation? The meaning of mitigation is to reduce the harmful effects is mitigation. The second word adaptation, that means how to live with the changed circumstances, how to live with the changed environment, you can say. So this mitigation and adaptation, these two words are very important when you look at the aspect of climate change and its effect on various regions. So this article is about small island nations. What is going to happen to small island nations, and under these circumstances, the world community, what is required to do? Here, Tuvalu. This is a small island nation in the South Pacific, and the population is just around 10,000 people. And one important aspect is, it is most likely to be underwater in less than 70 years because of the global warming and raising of the sea levels. So, due to raising of the sea levels caused by global warming, similar fate is expected to some Pacific nations, or you can say island nations like Kiribati, Fiji, Marshall Islands, Vanuatu, Micronesia as well as Nauru. And here 52 low-lying vulnerable island nations sustain 62 million people. They are home to 62 million people and they emit less than 1% of greenhouse gases, and they are among the first victims of climate disruption. So, because of rise in sea levels, the first affected countries are going to be the island nations. So, these island nations require, so what is required to be done by the world community? These island nations require immediate remedies including migration, compensation and reduction in GHG emissions. Right? So, if you look at alarming situation here, a sea level rise of around half meter to 2 meters could leave around 1.2 to 2.2 million people displaced. So, the point is, if the sea level rises by around half meter to 2 meters, then the people which are going to be displaced across the world, especially in small island nations, are going to be around 12 lakhs to 22 lakhs, and this 12 lakhs to 22 lakhs displacements will occur in the island nations situated in Caribbean Sea, Indian and Pacific Ocean regions. What happens because of displacement? This will set off domestic, or you can say internal migration, as well as cross-border migration. But the point here is whether the countries are willing to help or not. One classic example is given in this article, that with the request from Tuvalu's Prime Minister, when Tuvalu's Prime Minister requested New Zealand to allow migration, the New Zealand stated that they will relocate only 75 persons annually. If 75 persons are relocated annually from Tuvalu, it will take 140 years for complete rehabilitation. And when the country approached Australia, it refused to make any offer when approached similarly. So, the countries are not doing their bit as far as the plight of this island nations or small island nations is concerned. Exorbitant costs. Because of rise in sea level, then it is going to be exorbitant. The costs of adaptation. Right? The costs of adaptation is going to be exorbitant, and I already explained you the difference between mitigation and adaptation. The circumstances have already been changed, and how to live in the changed circumstances, that is adaptation. Please don't forget. And the costs are going to be exorbitant. The capital cost of sea level rise in the Caribbean community is going to be $187 billion by 2080. and the Pacific Possible Program of the World Bank predicted that the cost of adaptation to be $18,500 per person when you look at the Marshall Islands, and $11,000 per person for Solomon Islands over a period of 30 years. Right? So, the costs for adaptation are going to be huge. And here, finally, what are the alternatives? The first and the foremost point is International Compensation Commission is being proposed by some legal analysts. If some displacement is to take place, then International Compensation Commission. Why? Because of the emission of greenhouse gases by the advanced nations, now these small island nations are suffering, and almost 25% of the greenhouse gases subsequent to the industrialized era, America accounts for almost 1/4 of the total emissions. Now the leading emitters are China as well as United States of America. They are doing the damage, but who will take care of the people from these small island nations? So some legal analysts are proposing International Compensation Commission, and at the same time there is also a need for wide range of varied remedies such as coastal protection, population consolidation, then rainwater harvesting and storage, and alternative method of growing fruits and vegetables. Like that, some alternative adaptive measures are to be taken. I have already told you, adaptation means adjusting to the changed circumstances. It requires huge finance. Then the legal status of migrants is another area where the destination country to guarantee the protection of the migrants, not only protection but the cultural aspects also to be taken into account, because the cultural aspects of the small island nations are something different in comparison to the big countries, and when cross-border migration takes place, then the cultural identity must be protected. Then UNFCCC obligates countries to provide finance to resist global warming, and compensation to the island nations can be given in the form of contributions. So financing must be made available. Then International Compensation Commission can be thought of, and proper mechanism for settling the people migrating to other countries, and the costs of migration must be taken care of, and at the same time cultural aspects of the people migrating must be taken care of. And in the 21st century, in the years to come, then this issue is going to assume lot of significance, because rise of sea levels is inevitable, and proper mechanisms must be in place to take care of the migrants both domestically and cross-border. Right, friends? The key lies in proper adaptation measures, because before the end of the century, some of the island nations are going to become uninhabitable. That is going to be certain. Right, friends? With this, let us conclude today's mini capsule. Have a nice day. Thank you.